Hello and welcome to another episode of the Dumb and Dumbest podcast with me, Matt Bacon, and my beautiful, wonderful, radiant, glorious, balding co-host Curtis Dewar. This is a music industry podcast where everything is terrible and the house is on fire. Today we are talking about one of the greatest enigmas in the metal community, and it's not how I've done this all in one breath, but instead, Curtis.
We're going to talk about Threatin, the band, the apparent figment of the imagination, in my opinion. But hey, Threatin, we're going to talk about the big controversial man of the hour.
Yeah,
Slash
so
band.
Curtis, if you're going to explain Threatin sort of in a nutshell to someone, break it
You want me
down.
to do it? Okay.
No, don't get. We'll get into our different pet theories in a minute.
Sure.
But just I want
I'll
you to
explain the enigma. The enigma is that some guy named Jared Threatin started a band called Threatin. Apparently is touring Europe right now. And somehow he booked a whole tour with a fake PR company, fake booking agent, and paid all these venues to play, but no fans are showing up. And somehow this has now taken on this life of its own with coverage in every single place. And as soon as that happened, now he's deleted all of his social media accounts and any shows up to this date.
have the shows been canceled?
Yesterday's was apparently canceled. I don't know if there was supposed to be one today. I'm going to look at that. Will you fill in the void?
Okay, no. So basically, now what's important to realize is that while he faked a booking agency, which is true,
We think.
What's important to realize is that he also acted as the promoter. So like if you've ever booked a local show, like you have to pay the venue like $150 for like the sound guy or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
This is the same sort of deal. You're paying, however many dollars. Like he just went in and was like, yeah, fuck it. Here's 800 pounds or whatever to pay for the bar staff, et cetera, et cetera. And I am the promoter. And then he would just, from what we understand, he would just lie to the venue and be like, yeah, I totally sold all these tickets.
Yeah, but the thing is apparently none of these venues are losing any money because of the fact that he's actually paid the hall rental fee and everything.
They're losing money because the hall rental fee usually only covers staff. It's not paying for their rent.
That's not what the Empire said yesterday. They said they weren't losing any cash because they were fully paid. It was my understanding of it. I'm going to check that too while you're still talking.
The way most venues work is the bar sales pay the rent and other obligatory bills.
I understand that, but based upon the tweet I saw yesterday, they said they weren't losing money. But just hold on.
Okay.
You talk.
Right. And so the other kind of interesting thing is that he's like done all these videos of like him interviewing himself, and like he's done a bunch of videos of him interviewing himself, and he's done a bunch of videos of like just weird shit. There's one where he's interviewing himself. There's like a bunch of like live videos that don't actually show the band. It's just like a crowd video, so it's super blurry and hard to like pick apart. There's also a lot of the live videos have kind of thrown me, and then like there'll like be a live performance video that doesn't show the crowd.
Mm-hmm.
And then like in his music video, like the music isn't completely synced to the vocals, and Metal Sucks just dropped some live footage of the band, which looks like it was basically like it just looks and feels like a rehearsal. It doesn't look and feel like a real band presenting it. Not that, that being said, there's a lot of shitty bands who their live set looks like a rehearsal. So like don't take that as my way of saying, oh, this is all bullshit because they look dumb live, because looking dumb live has unfortunately not stopped countless bands.
Now, that being said, can I give my theory now?
Now, Curtis, for context, went down like a 4-hour rabbit hole.
Yeah. On Saturday night, when instead of playing with my kids, Matt shows me this fucking thing about Threatin. And basically what I did is I started looking at all the venues, all the tweets, everything. I started reading through Vince Neilstein's timeline and stuff, and I got sucked down a total hole, and now I have my own conspiracy theory about this thing.
Okay, so do you want to share your conspiracy theory?
I think
because this is good, guys.
It is. So here's my conspiracy theory: is that this is not a real band, it's fake, and this is a big publicity stunt for something else, and all the sites and magazines and everything are in on it. And the reason why I say that is because a lot of things do not add up in this whole thing. Like just the whole elaborate scam, just from the very beginning, that he somehow managed to bake his own way to Europe on a tour in some of these bigger halls. Like, to my understanding, the underworld is a pretty famous place, is it not, Matt?
Yeah, I mean, it's sort of like St. Vitus Bar. It's a cool room. Don't get me wrong. I've been to the underworld many times. I have a lot of friends there.
But it's not easy to get into, correct?
Well, yeah, it's like a pro type 300, 400 cap room.
That was my understanding of it. I've never been, but that's my understanding of it. So that's one thing. And my understanding was also the asylum is in similar-ish.
It is.
And so faking your way into some of these bigger venues would be, especially more than one, that's pretty impressive. And then number two, he apparently had started like a fake website. The fake website, if you look at the the internet who is thing, and if I did it right, and maybe I didn't because I'm not a technical genius, it looks like the site's been registered for a couple of years. And it expires next week. Ooh. So when does the tour end? Next week. Ooh. So I think it's a big publicity stunt. There's also there's no evidence that this guy was ever on the internet that I can find, at least prior to the story breaking on the 9th. Apparently he deleted all of his profiles and there's all these private profiles and stuff, but I've not yet seen anybody that has given me a screenshot of any of Threatin's social medias. I went on Bing, tried to find a cached version of his Facebook page, can't find it, which is weird. I went to the Internet Archives, the Wayback Machine, looked for a cached version of his older site, can't find it past August 2018. Apparently he released an album in 2017. This is all very, very, very suspicious to me. It looks to me like a marketing ploy. Also, you'll notice that he mentions SPV Records as one of his labels. And if you look at his the quote unquote site that he apparently started himself, there is mentions of being supported by NME, who wrote an article on him, AP Alternative Press, who also wrote an article about him, and Fixion Media is also listed as being their ad supplier. So who is owned by Blabbermouth. I think it's owned by Blabbermouth, or they do Blabbermouth's advertising, one of the two. Maybe they just do Blabbermouth's advertising.
There's a connection.
There's a connection to all these big places. So to me, it looks like a big elaborate. Oh, and also I'd like to point out that Mr. Neil Stein, or however you say his name, Stein, also runs an advertising company called the Blast Beat Network, which makes me also wonder if maybe this is a big ad campaign as well. So anyways, those it's all very, 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 it's a conspiracy theory, granted, but just judging from what I can see, I can't see any evidence that this was an actual ban prior to last week, other than a couple random things.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that is pretty interesting. Now, I want to play devil's advocate and just kind of say bans are fucking stupid.
Yeah.
And
but this guy isn't. He's definitely not stupid. He managed to fucking snooker everybody, if this is true. Everybody. Yeah. Everybody. That's not a dummy.
Yeah.
He's not dumb.
Well, that's sort of the thing. Is I think
comp level. One of the two.
I think, well, yeah. So like, I guess sort of my initial thinking was a little bit poo-pooing Curtis, just because like local bands and people in general are fucking stupid. A lot of interactions online have literally been informed by how many bots we interact with and don't know we're interacting with.
This is true. Yeah.
Like, you know, so like, I think you kind of get used to a certain community when you're batting at a certain level, but like, there's definitely bands where like, I could see them literally putting out a record and not having any record, there not being any evidence on the internet of it having happened.
This is true, but those same bands don't then go book a European tour.
That's where it gets interesting, is that it's like, well, you know, there's a lot of stupid bands out there. This guy fucking somehow put it all together so that he could have this monolithic, absurd European tour.
Well, here's the thing, though, too, that if you think about it, like, if you're going to blow the kind of cash he would have blown, you would do a buy-on. You know what I mean? Like, what he spent.
Yeah, but if you're not getting buy-on offers.
But you could do it. You know what I
There,
mean?
like you could, but like there's still a part of me.
Yeah.
There's still a part of me that's just like this guy is super, super deranged.
And it could be the case. It really could be, but it's just so coincidental. Like, like anybody would like you could call up probably well maybe not Motley Crue because those guys that did the buy-on with them paid like $1 million, but I mean this guy must have spent $50,000 at least just on the fucking venues.
Something like that, probably. Yeah.
So $50,000, you can get yourself a pretty good support slot with that.
Yeah.
You could get onto like a Napalm Records band or like like a high level B act, right, and be actually playing to crowds versus no one. Like it did, like there's no logic to what he did unless he's like you said totally deranged. In that case, I guess it makes sense to the deranged guy, but no one else.
Yeah. Well, no, like I said, there's part of me that's like, oh, maybe he just doesn't know how to get on buy-ons. You know what I mean? Like maybe he just isn't
Yeah,
aware.
it could be, but at the same time, like if he if like he must have some sort of concept of it because of the fact that
Oh,
he's got
absolutely.
all the CD, he's got the CDs, he's got the merch, he's got the websites, and then just to think that you can just buy a tour and then have like it doesn't make any sense. So it's got to be a publicity stunt because the other thing too, this has gone fucking viral everywhere. Like the BBC fucking reported on it.
BBC reported on it, really?
Yeah, yeah, about the Belfast gig, and then they call off the Belfast gig, and then the next thing, there's no more gigs until tomorrow apparently. So it seems to me it's like this big news cycle that's trying to go for some big reveal. Like it's just so perfectly planned. It gets all revealed on Thursday or whatever day it was, and then all of a sudden he doesn't have any gigs again until Sunday, and then that gets canceled, and now he doesn't have another gig again until tomorrow or whatever.
Yeah, and then it gets announced with over the weekend when nothing's really happening.
Exactly.
That being
So
said,
I think I think that either the journalists are all being somehow played or they're being paid because I mean to me it doesn't make like it like I mean this is the scoop of the year for Metal Sucks if it's indeed legit. Otherwise it's a viral marketing campaign that's fucking well executed. I want to say just I'm not giving anybody shit for partaking in this. I think it's fucking brilliant if it is a marketing scheme.
yeah,
Yeah.
and it increasingly is looking like it is because like
Yeah.
everyone's talking about him,
Yeah.
and
And nobody has gotten a hold of him. And there's apparently some guy that Matt has a mutual or is Facebook friends with that was the drummer, right?
guitarist, I think.
He was drummer or guitarist, one of the two. Now, here's the interesting thing. You didn't talk to the guy, did you?
I sent him a Facebook message, and it's currently unread.
Yeah, okay. So well, that could be just that he's getting a high volume messages. But here's
Yeah.
the thing: the two guys that apparently quit.
So, oh yeah, okay, go ahead, and then I'll share my side. But go.
Sure. The two guys that apparently quit the band yesterday after this whole hoopla went over. The interesting thing, like if you go to either one of their social media sites, like one of them, the guitarist, no, you're friends with the drummer because the guitarist is the
Okay.
guy has an official page. I can't remember what his name is, but he's got like his own official "this is my page" thing, right? And
Hmm.
he's got pictures of the tour happening, and but there's no mention of no crowd, none of the fiasco. But there's all these pictures. Here I am in Europe. Here I am playing.
Yeah,
And
and it's the same with my friend too. Well, I
exactly.
don't know him, but like the guy who I'm Facebook friends with, Dane Davis.
And I noticed one of the bands that apparently did an opening slot last week, who's a record, and I can't find a record of that show anywhere on the internet. By the way, had
Which
made
again
reference.
can happen because
Can
people are
happen,
fucking idiots.
can happen. But they made reference to the crowd at their show the night before, which was supposedly the date that they played with Threatin. So I'm just saying, I think that there's somebody's full of shit, and there's no such thing as Threatin. Everybody's everybody's in on it. The opening bands are getting free press out of it. That's just the way I look at it. And if I'm wrong, I'm happy to be wrong, but this is just too bizarre for it to be true.
Yeah, it's definitely weird, and
Mm-hmm.
I sort of enjoy the weirdness.
Oh, this is awesome. And if this is real, this guy is a fucking idiot if he doesn't go for a movie and book deal because someone will fucking do it and he's going to be a multi-millionaire at the end of this if he's real and he plays it right. He could be like the Jordan Belfort of fucking metal.
For the uninitiated, who's Jordan Belford?
Most people would know because Jordan Belfort was the guy that was in the Academy. His story was told in the Academy Award-winning film The Wolf of Wall Street when he was played by Leonardo DiCaprio. It's the tale of a guy that ends up basically embezzling people for all their worth and making millions of dollars. And then at the end of everything, after he goes to jail and everything, he becomes a superstar or motivational speaker.
Yeah, there you go. Point being, the other interesting thing to note with the guy I added as a Facebook friend, he's apparently like some sort of Vegas musician.
Yeah.
And I had four mutual friends with him, two who I actually like knew, because you're Facebook friends with people you don't know.
Usually, yeah.
And so I asked both of them, and neither of them had any clue who he was, and were amazed to find out that they were in any way connected to this Threatin imbroglio.
And also, one thing I want to point out is when me and Matt were going through the guy's friend list the other day, a couple things that stood out to me was almost all the profiles that were not mutual connections to me or Matt appeared to be fake because they were all private. And I went down like about 30, 40 names, all private. Like, that's not normal.
There was some not private ones. Again,
no, I'm just saying, yeah,
some
but
people are idiots. Like
90% of them were private profiles, looked scammy to me. And then the other fact was the guy said he was from, where was it, Nairobi or
yeah,
Namibia or something. That I'm like, okay, yeah, all right. Not saying that can't happen too, but okay, right?
yeah, but odds are,
White guy from Namibia, yeah, okay, fine.
or maybe it's up there as a joke. Again,
Could be.
I'm going to keep playing devil's advocate because I have a really low opinion of other people.
He does. I have a higher opinion of other people, and I'm thinking this is like some sort of level of scam that's right up on the level of like a Jordan Belfort or a Donald Trump type thing where he did the whole fake interview thing with himself years ago.
Yeah.
But he didn't even he had $100 million or whatever at the time, didn't pull it off at this level.
Yeah, like there was years of preparation going into this. Like the audacity behind this entire thing.
Yeah.
Is so like if he comes out and drops a really sick record like on Friday.
Yeah.
Can you even imagine? I really hope he drops a really sick like pop metal record on Friday.
It could be, or else he's like Borat or something like that. He doesn't look like Borat, but that was my other thought, is it was something like a Borat type thing.
Now, what do you mean?
Well, you know how Borat went and he basically pretended who he was, and he was doing all these interviews with people, and he basically made a character. What's the guy's name? He took on the persona of like a DJ rapper guy, would interview.
Yeah.
Fake personality as a joke. I'm thinking that's the other type of thing, is he's doing some sort of performance art, and he's like, it's a character that he's doing for some sort of film, and he's filming everything about it or something. I don't know. Or it's a social experiment of some sort. That's my other thought.
Yeah. It's tricky. Anyway.
But here's some lessons but here's one thing I want to point out, and one thing other people point out. This guy, if he's legit, put more work into his band than probably 95% of all people out there. And he's blowing up right now, and he's fucking wasting it if he is a lunatic, like Matt says, or he's getting himself prepared for living the good life for the rest of his life. I'm not sure which one it is, but just what he did, like, if he really pulled off what people are saying he pulled off, like, it's fucking amazing. It's unethical, but it's fucking amazing.
Yeah, it's I'd be stunned and in awe, and like would want to go to his fucking marketing lessons.
Yeah, like it's a pure marketing lesson. Like this is like the perfect fake it till you make it, if he really did fake it till you make it. And you know what's going to happen is there's going to be like a dozen other bands that are going to fucking do the exact same thing in the future, because this worked, and it worked well. Or we're going to find out, like I think, that it's a big marketing scheme, which is most likely. And yeah.
And then what? Someone else will
probably try to duplicate this again in the future, and people are going to be a little bit more leery in the future due to this thing. I mean, this is either way. This is a great lesson in marketing, one way or the other. Like, I mean, the guy prepared himself. I mean, this has got so much press. He's probably, like, his YouTube stats are like through the roof right now. I don't know how much money he's making off his YouTube, but he's got to be making some cash off his YouTube minimally in his streams. Like, he must be.
Yeah.
There's no fucking way he isn't, just from the morbid curiosity from the amount of press he's getting.
Yeah.
I don't know how much he's made back, but just that right there. And then plus I keep seeing people talking about buying his merch, whether they are, I don't fucking know, but
I'm starting to hear people say positive things about his songs. So like,
exactly. They're not bad. He's not like, he's kind of like an 80s glam metal / prog type of
well, no,
guy.
well,
He's
yeah,
not
it's the
bad.
whole like mainstream metal thing that you and I are just so far divorced from.
Well, I
You
like
know?
it, but I pretend like I'm divorced for it. But in private, I actually do like it. But I like to
Okay.
pretend like I'm not into it. But yeah, exactly. You're 100% right.
Point being,
I didn't say that out loud, did I? About privately liking it? I'm just kidding.
oops,
I'm kidding.
you're a poser.
Everybody knows I like Striper, so whatever.
Anyway, so point being, we have some stuff to plug for you.
Yeah.
And we're probably going to be doing a follow-up episode on this, maybe even as early as later today.
Well, it depends on what breaks, because if we find out if it does happen that it's a big fucking marketing scheme, we're gonna be doing something on that and talking about it and how you can use it. That's for sure.
Yeah. Anyway, what do you have to plug outside of Threatin?
Oh, I don't know. My mind's been like totally engrossed in this for like the last 2 days. But in other than that, we got a couple things that recently came out that I'll plug. Volteric Eye just released something last week, an EP, kicks ass. Matt just did a review of it over at Two Guys Metal Review. Crawling for Carrion also released a 2-song EP. It was a cover of Portishead's Roads and Towns Van Zant's Rakes. Matt also did the stream for that at Metal Injection, so he's like 2 for 2, 2 out of 3 for me this week.
That
And then
was a really good record.
yeah, it's really really good if you haven't been able to take a listen to it. And then the last thing that released the other day, unless I'm forgetting something, which I don't think I am, was Cortez, No More Conqueror. They're kind of like math metal, like Dillinger Escape Plan, except good. I don't like Dillinger Escape Plan, but I like Cortez. So if you like Dillinger Escape Plan, go check out Cortez because they kick their ass. And yeah, that's what I got to plug right now.
Perfect. Good. I'm actually, because this worked out really well for me last time, I'm actually going to plug the bio rating stuff because y'all seem to enjoy me writing your bios. So if you mention this podcast and DM me, I will write a bio for you for $50.
Do it. Matt writes the best bios there's him and 2 other people that I trust to write my bios, and go for it. Matt does a fantastic job. The other 2 people do as well, but since they're not on the podcast right now, I'm just going to plug Matt. And
Yep.
I got one other thing to plug. I just realized too once you're done.
What do you have to plug? Go.
I forgot to mention my special, which is I have a
Yes.
2-month PR special, which is at 15% off. If you are interested, let me know. One question I was asked is, do I accept payments for that? Normally I don't, but because I'm nice, if you listen to the podcast and you say, hey, you said on the podcast you'd accept payments, I'll do it in that case. Otherwise, I would say no. But anyways, that's all I got.
I'm really excited for like one person to listen to every episode of this podcast
Mm-hmm.
and then like take advantage of every single little thing we've offered here.
Yeah,
It'd be so fun.
hilarious.
It would be great though.
So are we done yet or what?
Ah, Jesus fucking Christ.